Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RealClearPolitics Takeaway for December 7th, 2021. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of RealClearPolitics.
And I'm Carl Cannon, Washington bureau chief. Tom, when I was a kid in California, December 7th was still called Pearl Harbor Day.
And it is the 80th anniversary of that fateful day, Carl. Very few folks, and sadly, we lost Bob Dole this week as well, a member of the Greatest Generation. So there are very few folks left. I know they're doing a big ceremony, but very few folks left from that day and even from that war now these days, Carl.
Yeah, they're all leaving us. Bob Dole was at University of Kansas on Pearl Harbor Day. He was an athlete. He played basketball for a legendary coach there. He was good enough to be a walk-on in football and track team. And 12 million other American men, he went into service before it interrupted his life. 250,000 of them never came home. But even after that, the United States did not get in, war until we were attacked by Japan. War had been raging in Europe for 2 years, and Roosevelt didn't know how he was going to keep America out of it. He didn't really think he should. He didn't know how he was going to get reelected in 1940 unless he promised he wouldn't. But the Japanese Imperial Navy made it all moot on this date when they attacked Pearl Harbor. Surprise attack.
It is one of those days, Carl, that will, live in quote infamy, right up there with, for my generation, 9/11. I mean, we can all remember exactly where we were when it happened, but we're losing the sort of collective consciousness and memory, and we've also seen, Carl, especially in these later decades, and we've talked about this in other forums about how we've sort of lost touch with the military. So few of our citizens now join the military and bear that burden of keeping America safe and around the country that there are plenty of folks around the country now who have no connection to the military in their family whatsoever.
That's true. But, when Bob Dole, he spoke at the inauguration of the World War II Memorial, and he said, this is not just a testimonial to the people who fought, to the men like him who'd gone. It disrupted every American's life. And he said it was a testament to the people in later generations who raised the money to build it. It was a testament to the civilians who stayed home and, built the planes and rockets and bombers and tanks that won the war, and to the diplomats who tried to prevent war. I was thinking of that this morning in the wake of President Biden announcing this symbolic gesture of not sending American diplomats to Beijing for the Winter Olympics. And, there was a story out recently how there was a movement to boycott the 1936 games in Germany, and it didn't. And Hitler used it as a showcase. China's going to use this as a showcase. And, Joe Biden doesn't want to punish the athletes who've trained. They're young. They're not in politics. Most of them are apolitical. They've worked their lives for this, but he wants to send a message that smashing democracy in Hong Kong, that this genocide against the Muslim minority, the Uyghurs in China cannot just be business as usual. That's the phrase the White House used. So when we think about Pearl Harbor, we also have to think about the diplomacy that failed, Tom, and that ended in that war on November, 2 weeks before less than 2 weeks. Secretary of State Cordell Hull presented Japan with a list of 10 points why America believes in peace. Well, the Japanese sent their Navy that day across the ocean. So, we also have to remember the diplomats, Tom, and try and help them keep us out of future world wars.
One of the things that I often reflect on, Carl, is this question. You mentioned the sort of incredible mobilization by the American public across all sectors of the economy, in this war effort that was, when you look at the statistics about what was done during that period of time in terms of, manufacturing production, is just incredible. Do you think, Carl, that were we to face a threat similar to that, China takes over Taiwan, we have some sort of conflict, that we could mount, given how divided we are now as a country? I mean, you look even after 9/11, I mean, the unity that was found in the wake of 9/11 was very short-lived. Do you think we could come together as a country and mount that kind of sort of unified response, given how deeply we are separated in this country ideologically these days?
I worry about that, Tom. And
I do
I
too.
also, I also worry, is this generation that's coming up today, they're politically engaged, they're empathetic, they volunteer, they've got a lot going for them, but are they tough enough? This is this is a question people have asked. If the whole country had to fight, could we do it? I don't know, but God forbid we won't have to find out.
All right. On that note, we will leave it there. I'm Tom Bevan, co-founder and president of RCP.
And I'm Carl Cannon, Washington Bureau Chief, and this has been the Real Clear Politics Takeaway for December 7th, 2021, 80 years after Pearl Harbor.